Okay, guys and gals. Good morning, Paul here aboard Southern Estate, and this morning I really want to talk about when you make the decision to say we're going to live on a boat because I was in this situation, and so I got to go back like 2 or 3 years here now to when I lost my job to COVID. Me and Bev were in a decision time in our lives. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen or how things were going to turn out. We had no clue. But I started looking for boats, and I looked for boats on the West Coast and on the East Coast. In today's video, no regrets lifestyle, I really want to talk about the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast because I've lived on both now. And they're both completely different from one another. What are you doing, Daisy? What are you doing, girl? Anyway, and what I mean by that is living in California on your boat, completely different. Like what our trawler down there was a 34 CHB, 1978. We lived down there, and we didn't even have air conditioning on that boat. Now, when you went into the marina there, they did require heater. So, and all you had to do is show them that you had a good portable heater, and they accepted that as your heat. And the reason is because down there, you got that cold Pacific Ocean, and you usually have that ocean breeze blowing over top of it, and it works like the ultimate swamp cooler actually, and it stayed fairly cool even on a hot day when down there in LA when it would get to 90 degrees. You still had that ocean breeze coming across there, and it still I always felt really comfortable inside the boat. We didn't even have portable air conditioner, nothing. There was a few days that out of the year that would get uncomfortable, but that was one of the advantages to the West Coast. I would say one of the disadvantages to the West Coast. Well, let's go back to some more advantages to the West Coast. And when I say West Coast, I only did the California. Let's say from San Francisco up to San Diego. I've pretty much sailed or been in all of those waters, and so those are the areas that I know. You start getting back in Oregon and stuff like that. Things start to change a little bit in Washington. Things really start to change, but in California, one of the advantages we had Catalina Island, so we could take the boat over to the island, which me and Bev have been to several times on several different boats that we've chartered, mostly sailboats. To tell you the truth, we never even took our trawler over there. It was one of the things I regretted. We spent a lot of time getting the boat ready, but in the end, we never even took it over to Catalina Island, and it would have been something I would have enjoyed. But it's all rocky, it's all terrainy, it's all open ocean crossings. There's no protection, no nothing like that. On the, I would call the Pacific a lot more rugged. So and what I mean by that is, yeah, there's some inner waters, but mostly you have to go out. Like if we want to go over to Marina Del Rey, we had to go out into the open ocean. If you want to go from San Diego Bay to over to Mission Bay, you have to go out into the ocean. There's no canals cutting through anything, so it's a lot more rugged. And the swells out there on the Pacific are much bigger. So there's some advantages and disadvantages to it. It's a lot more expensive, especially in the area we were in. It's very expensive. It seemed like they taxed us for everything. We got taxed for the slip. We were in a city slip with a liveaboard permit, and we even got taxed on the price of the slip. So the taxes were just they ate us up. They ate us alive, and but I regret it? No, it's what drove me back. So then I had to make the decision to say, hey, what am I going to do this time? What am I going to, where are we going to go? Well, I didn't know anything about America's Great Loop or anything like that, but here's what I did know about if we went down south, and this is our first season living aboard full time, full season. And down south, we've lived down here before. We've lived here for probably 5 years. It's the hurricanes, and I'm unlucky when it comes to hurricanes. I just am. I mean, I moved down. I lost my job. We came down here. First thing we did, Sally hits, just a nasty hurricane, and we did Loop Princess in the middle of that hurricane, and everything fortunately worked out for us. But hurricanes down south here are a big issue. It's one of the reasons I picked this specific marina that we're in right now. May not be the sexiest marina out there, but it is one of the safest marinas on this Gulf Coast to be tucked into if a hurricane does hit, and I don't have to move the boat. Some of these down south here, if you're in some of these marinas right here, they will make you move your boat or ask you to move your boat when a hurricane comes because you'll just rip apart their marina and you're going to lose the boat anyways. So, and they're going to lose their marina. So they know that. And that's just it's a game, and if you're gonna come out here and you're gonna live aboard, you're gonna play it. Now, some people typically you would get in this boat right here, the Southern Estate, and we would just go upriver there, to Denopolis or Green Turtle Bay or something like that in summer. Get the boat up in fresh water, kill all those barnacles. And the maintenance on the boat becomes a lot less when you start doing stuff like that, and a lot of people do that. That's definitely an option. I know quite a few people that do that. So that was all a consideration when I was doing that. Anyway, so it was a big driving determination because here was my goal. Here's where my head was at. I was sitting there thinking, okay, if we do this on the West Coast, I would love to go to Alaska. But in that situation, it was going to take a lot more expensive of a boat because heading down to Alaska and being out there in the Pacific Ocean, I felt that the trawler that I would have had to spend probably a couple $100,000, and I didn't really have that kind of money. So I didn't want, it was just one of those deciding factors. So then I said, okay, well, if we go down here, something we could try is America's Great Loop. And I go, and I could do that in one of these, one of these 40-year-old trawlers, one of these Taiwan trawlers, and I would feel more comfortable being on an intercoastal system, let's say. And so it was a huge factor of what I did. But in the end, what won out, you guys know that, is we came down here. We found a trawler, and then we went ahead and proceeded on America's Great Loop, and then we upgraded in the middle of America's Great Loop to another trawler, which is the bigger, much more comfortable for the three of us to live on with when you got me, Bev, and Daisy. But it was, that's where my head was at, because down south here, I've got the hurricanes I've got to deal with. I've got the and you got to have air conditioning here. I mean, you're not going to make it down south here without air conditioning. And it's not really it's the humidity. It'll just eat your lunch. So you've got to have good air conditioning on your boats down south here. So, and it's expensive. Air conditioners, marine air conditioners are $2,000 to $5,000. And you got to have, on this size boat right here, you've got to have 2 functioning air conditioners. You can get away with 1, but you really should have 2 of them, which we do on this boat. Loop Princess, we only had 1, but on this boat we have 2. So those are all things that you got to keep into consideration. Now, most of my boating prior to this was all in the Pacific. Now I'm over here in the Atlantic, and I plan on doing a lot more boating. Now I've completed 6,000 miles. I've done 3 of the 4 Great Lakes. And I will continue to keep growing with my knowledge. Boat deliveries and stuff like that this summer, it could work out where we could take the Virginia Hawkeye on quite a nice little voyage, and you guys will all get to experience that with us. But, who knows what's going to happen in the end. I think we made the right decision because, it's a little less expensive over here. I don't want to take it away, and I don't want to paint a picture of of the cheapness of living on a boat, because I don't think that's true at all. I think that living on a boat, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of maintenance that goes into it. There's a lot of things that have to be done to the boat, especially if you want to keep a running boat. If it's one thing if you just buy some houseboat, and I've had guys do it. They'll just go buy a houseboat. They don't even care if the engine runs or not. They just pull it into the slip. You're not allowed to do this in this marina. You're supposed to have a running boat to be able to pull into this marina. It has to come in under its own power, and it has to be able to leave under its own power at any time. That's one of the qualifications for this marina right here. But some marinas will let you live aboard in the marina without doing that. They're getting that's getting tougher and tougher and further away. But I do know guys that have done that. So these were a lot of decisions that were going through my head. In the end, like I said, the South won, the East Coast won. I think in the end, I basically have, I don't want to say 6,000 miles of intercoastal because there's some open ocean things there, but I think the cruising grounds out here are really really good. I think the beaches out here are compared to what we had in California, the beaches down here are phenomenal. One of the things in California that I did enjoy, they had a regular dog beach where we could just go let our dogs run off leash. Here we do not have that privilege. They don't have any leashed off beaches down south here for that we can just take Daisy to and let her run. But on the boat here, we can go to these I don't want to say abandoned, but these beaches that are not accessible by anything but a boat. And there are certain ones that we can let her run around on and enjoy her and stretch her legs. But again, you can't do that without a boat. Anyway, I don't regret making this decision. I'm glad I did it. I still really want to go do the West Coast and take a boat all the way down to Alaska. Right now, the biggest goal is right now is getting the boat ready for the Keys and then over to the Bahamas. I did have an opportunity, and me and Bev had to make a hard decision this last week because I could have upgraded. This is a 44-foot marine trader, and I could have made the switch over to a 47-foot custom trawler that was, it's an absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you a picture right here. Just an absolutely gorgeous trawler. But in the end, I'm too far along in this one, and I don't want to stop right now. I just hooked up the solar panels to the Vectron yesterday, and I just want to keep moving forward with this boat. And I trust the engines. I trust. I've had the boat now. After I upgrade my electrical, I like the way the dinghy sits on the boat. I like everything. The autopilot. That boat doesn't have autopilot. So I just looked at I ran all the numbers 100 times, and it would break even, but it seems like this boat just doesn't need as much work as the other boat would need to get it up to even where this boat is. And then it still needed some work. There's a little damage from Sally, but it's an absolutely gorgeous boat, and it's actually an upgrade of a boat, but we're not going to do it. We're just going to keep going with Southern Estate here and keep getting her ready for the Keys. With a next year departure date sometime this time next year when I head down to the Keys and then over to the Bahamas. And then after that, my plan would be to, if we could keep the no regret going and get the channel really going, I still, in the back of my head, would just love to give this trawler away to one of my YouTube subscribers. I'm not saying that's ever going to happen, but that's where I'm at. That's what I want to do. And then buy like a 55 Fleming, somewhere around there, 55, 65-foot Fleming, take that, leave here, and head over to through the Panama Canal and then up the West Coast and head over to Alaska. We'll see if any of that's possible, but that's, you got to have dreams, right? That's what this channel's all about, hope and dreams and living life with no regret and having that lifestyle. And, that's where my head's at. And that's, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I didn't know I'd be living on this boat, 5 years ago. I just remember at my desk saying, oh, I don't know if I can do this much longer. And here I am, living the dream. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, I rambled on there a little bit. But anyway, that's where my head's at. And that's where my plans are right now. And like I said, I've got a lot of work to do still on the boat here. It was fun getting the charger controller hooked up yesterday and seeing what these panels will do, these panels that I'm not happy with. But they are putting out power, and right now the boat is 100% running on solar power. Even today, I'm gonna run it and see how long it'll go. It's a cloudy day. I wish the sun was out so I can really see what these panels are capable of. But they'll do exactly what I think they'll do. And on a very sunny day, they'll keep up, but they would never be able to recharge the batteries. And then we're going to add the Light Pro 4 batteries. We should be doing that shortly, maybe early part of next month. Anyway, Paul Bates, peace out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share the videos with your friends, because we're really trying to get up to 10,000 subscribers. Then we can get our No Regret t-shirts and put them down there so you guys can get those. Anyway, have a good day. Thank you for watching.